Hello, this is Daniel Mart, and today I will be doing a review for the new show Helix. So yeah, Helix is a new show. Obviously. That premiered yesterday on the Sci-Fi Channel. What they did basically was like a double premiere type of thing. So they basically, for the premiere, they put the first two episodes. So the pilot. So in this case, um they put pilot and vector. Vector is the name of the second episode. So yeah. Um Basically this this show is set to have at least 13 episodes for the first season. And basically how they describe it uh is Helix is an intense thriller about a team of scientists from the CDC who travel who traveled to a high-tech research facility Arctic biostems to investigate a possible disease outbreak, only to find themselves pulled into a terrifying life and death struggle that may hold the key to mankind's salvation or a total annihilation. However, the lethal threat is just a tip of the iceberg, and as the virus evolves, the chilling truth begins to unravel. So yeah, that's basically how they describe it. This show is like produced or directed by the same guy who made Battle Galactic. I believe it's what it's called, or Battlestar Galactic. I forget what it's called. Yeah, but something like that I think was also on this channel. But yeah, this channel features Billy Campbell, um, Haru Haruyuki Sandana, Kara Zangrosky, and Mark Ganemy. So yeah, it also features Jordan Hayes, Neil Napier, Mig Miguan Fairbrother, um, Luciana Caro, Julian Cassie, Christine, Christi, Christian, Jada, Catherine Lemieux, Vitaly Makarov, and Jerry Ryan. And so that's basically who feature it. And yeah, so as review goes, synopsis. So, synopsis, likes and dislikes, and rate it. I may have to do a double rate, or I'd have to do maybe a double synopsis and maybe a double rate. One for each episode. So yeah. So I'll start with the pilot episode. Basically it is the pilot. So yeah, basically there's the the protagonist's brother, the protagonist being Alan Farragut, played by Billy Campbell. His brother, Peter Farragut, he's in this Arctic, laboratory CDC type of thing, in the Arctic. He basically caught this sickness or illness, um, and yeah, so his brother and a bunch of other scientists, which include Julia Walker, Dr. Julia Walker in the show, and Sarah Jordan, and you know they go to this Arctic place and this Arctic lab, and basically they have to find a cure for this pathogen, and that was the main goal. Then due to the pathogen, for some reason this instead of making Peter weaker, it actually makes him stronger, and he basically escapes, and he's in the air ducts. So now they have to find Peter, who may or may not infect other people in this CDC, this Antarctica CDC. So yeah. Eventually, he does end up infecting others, and it's a that's a very interesting episode, and it is a pretty cool pilot. I mean, special effects are pretty cool in my opinion. So far for what we have, the character development yet being little, it does seem very interesting. The character development is very interesting, despite it being like very minimal. Considering the show just started yesterday. Um, yeah, I mean, you do have some interesting love triangle. I mean, you have a few cliches of here and there for plot twists. You have some interesting plot twist. You have that's one small cliche about a love triangle they kind of touch upon. It's not major, but they kind of touch upon it. You have your typical kind of it's kind of antagonistic character. Um, I wouldn't say exactly kind of antagonist, yeah, but he seems kind of shady, which I believe is cool. And that the one I'm talking about is Doctor Harushi Harak, played by Haru Haruyuki Sandano. He's an Asian, obviously, so I mean, I think his character is very interesting, and I'm so far one of the most interesting characters so far in this, just from the first episode, because it seems they're keeping a lot of secrets, and you explore this um more in the second episode, which I'll do right now. So basically, like I said, quick synopsis, likes and dislikes, and rate it. Um, Rate it will be all the way at the end. Maybe more likes and dislikes, whatever. So yeah, the second episode, due to there being now more infected, they basically have to what they basically have to do is like cut off or quarantine a certain area or sector of this CDC, and there's 3 patients from this infection that escaped, and they're basically out there. You do have some pretty cool and interesting action scenes in this episode as well, in Vector. Yeah, I mean, the character development does get more interesting. It does seem a bit more darker, in my opinion. Um, for the character development, and it is intriguing, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, I mean, this show is a sci-fi thriller, but there is one thing this kind of reminds me of, and it's almost like 28 Days Later. For those who have seen it, 28 Days Later mixed with maybe Predator or Matrix or maybe Alien, something around that sort. Cause I mean, it certainly does have the sci-fi factor, and but the reason I'm also putting mixing it with 28 Days Later is because this pathogen. I mean, it makes the people almost act like zombie-like, but yet they're not dead. So it's kind of interesting. So that's why I put it like almost 28 days later comparison, along with like the Matrix or something like that. Matrix, Alien, maybe Predator. Um, one maybe Terminator to an extent. Um, yeah, but I mean, the writing is amazing. I mean, they do not joke around with the writing. I mean, they take the writing seriously. Same thing with the acting. The acting is phenomenal in both episodes. I mean, it does have its slow parts, but when it's slow, it kind of makes sense, in my opinion. It makes sense for them to have this slow part, but there are parts that just lag and lag and lag, which even though despite them being slow, which for me does make sense, it does get a little bit boring at times, but it still makes sense to have that slow part, in my opinion. And that's for both episodes. So yeah. I mean, it, now I really don't know if I would call this a zombie show, because I've actually heard some like in forums and comments and whatever that this could be another zombie show. I really don't think it could be a zombie show. I think it could be like almost 28 Days Later. It's not exactly a zombie movie. It's like a brother of the zombie genre. And I think it could be like that, the brother of the zombie genre, because it's like right there, since the people don't actually die, and really, it's pretty the way they portray like the infection spreading. It's pretty interesting, because for example, in The Walking Dead, in order for someone to die, I mean, let me rephrase that. In order for someone to turn into a zombie, you would either have to get bitten or scratched, or it's already airborne, or it's airborne, so when you die you come back to life. It is nothing like this. This pathogen is not airborne, more It's airborne to an extent in a very tiny degree. By that, that means very tiny degree. But I'll explain that in a second. It's not exactly airborne. You don't really get contract the flu or pathogen by scratches or bitten. And once you die, I mean, one or two things could happen to you. You could either just die and you have a corpse there, or you could um, or you could somehow your whole skin and muscles could just like de- go through an extreme decomposition. You could just be like a skeleton with like dark blood on you. So yeah, now I did talk about the disease being airborne to a degree, and what I mean is because, see, the way it seems here is that the disease is transmitted through almost orally, like breath, like like that type of thing, or someone like type of thing. So with their mouth or whatever. I mean, there was this one scene at the end of the second episode where where Peter kisses one of the doctors, and I'm assuming she got the disease, but there are other instances where it's just really like blow to her face type of thing. So that's why I say it's to a degree airborne, very 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 small degree. Um, in my opinion, the special effects are phenomenal. I mean, the special effects and the CGI are pretty cool in this episode. I mean, not episode, but in this series, in the two episodes, obviously, whatever. I mean, you have the very dark blood. I mean, the blood is literally black. It's literally black, which makes sense. The way the story lays out, and then the like the infected have like the blue veins or very dark blue veins, like just coming like this way, like rising up, and and then the eyes are phenomenal and whatever. I mean, the special effects is phenomenal in this so far in these two episodes. Yeah. So yeah, there's new episodes every Friday. I don't know if they're gonna do the same thing, put two episodes every Friday. I mean, they've only got 13 episodes, so maybe these two and then, one every after. Um, yeah, it seems like that's what they're gonna do. I mean, it would make the most sense in my opinion. So yeah, now for the rate. Two episodes, two rates. So yeah. So for the pilot episode, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, and 6 being decent, for a pilot, I'd have to give it a solid 8. I mean, granted, it is a pilot, so it's not gonna be its best, but for what it is, it's pretty goddamn well done. I mean, the writing is phenomenal, the acting is phenomenal, the plot makes sense, and everything. I like how the style it is. So now the second episode, same thing. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, and 6 being decent, I'd have to put this at an 8.15, 8.15, a little bit over than the previous one. Again, it's got the problem that it is one of the newer episodes for the series. And really, I think, and that's one of the problems, and I'm pretty sure that's gonna be a problem up to maybe episode 4 or 5, in my opinion. Um, but again, the phenomenal acting, the phenomenal special effects, the acting, the writing, the plot makes sense. The plot twist and everything just makes extreme sense. And anyone who likes Walking, not anybody who likes Walking Dead and like 2018's Leader and stuff like that, I recommend you guys watch it because it's like right there, right up that genre. I mean, it's a little bit sci-fi-ish, and and some people who really don't like how. Actually, no, let me rephrase that. People who actually like how, to see the start of a, the zombie apocalypse type of thing, I recommend you watch them. Those who don't, well, that I'm pretty sure, um, well, to like bad luck. I mean, and speaking about that, they really don't explain how the pathogen was created, but they hint at it, which is another good thing I like. So yeah. So as I said before, for the pilot, for for Helix the pilot, episode 1, season 1, I'd give it an 8. And Helix, episode 2, season 1, Vector, I'd give it an 8.15. I mean, I will be watching it weekly. If I'd be reviewing it, likely. Okay, so that's all I have to say. So yeah, that's basically it for this video. This is Daniel Mart. Remember to subscribe. I also do other types of TV show reviews. I also review comic books and movies and action figures. And besides that, also tell you guys tell you what's on the news recently. So check those out too. Comment below on your thoughts on Helix. Have you seen it yet? Do you want to see it? Did you like the premiere and the second episode? Are you gonna watch it again next week? Put your thoughts down on that. Comment below. And yeah, tell your friends, families, and neighbors about me, my channel, and maybe even the Helix show, because it's pretty goddamn good. And as I said before, I recommend it. And besides that, share on Instagram, Facebook, MySpace, Twitter, Vine, or whatever you guys prefer. And besides that, this is Daniel Mart signing off.